You know, lately with the Star Wars movies, the new ones, people have been talking a whole lot about Mary Sue's and what a Mary Sue is. And as a writer, I really want to dive into what a Mary Sue is, in my opinion. So get ready for a writer's ramble about this. When it comes to Mary Sue's, first let's get a definition down because people can have multiple different definitions of what a Mary Sue is. Some people think that a Mary Sue is, just a character who's too perfect or a character who doesn't have any flaws, and that can be the case. I think that those are elements to a Mary Sue, but that's not all a Mary Sue is. In my opinion, a Mary Sue is a character who lies to you, and let me explain what I mean by that. Let's talk about characters such as Superman. You could argue that Superman's a bit of a... Okay, time out just a second because I want to make this clear too since I'm about to bring up Superman. I remember the actress playing Rey from Star Wars saying that Mary Sue was a term only for women. It was sexist. Bullcrap. There is a term for males that are Mary Sues. It's called a Gary Stew. And there are plenty of Gary Stews out there. Superman, I think, being one of them. But the interesting thing about Superman is think about what he is. In every way, he is unbeatable. I mean, I remember watching the death battle of Goku versus Superman, and I remember getting really mad that Superman won. But when I think about it, it makes sense that he won, doesn't it? Superman wins everything. Superman's almost this unbeatable character. And guess what? Because I just said that, I know I'm going to get some people hating on me saying, no, he's lost to this character, and that character, or this character. So then I'll say, oh, well, I guess he's not perfect. No, he is perfect because he does this, and his morals are this, and his ideology is this, and he's done that. Okay, so I guess he's unbeatable. No, because, see, everyone will rush to defend him. If I say that he's not perfect, suddenly someone says, but he is. But if I say that he is too perfect, no, he's not. And therein, I think, lies the Gary Stu or Mary Sue status. If you cannot willingly acknowledge the flaws of a character and only focus on the positive aspects, but when people claim that that's a flaw in and of itself, that they're too perfect, people rush to cover that up as well, then you might have a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu on your hands. Characters don't need to be relatable in the sense that we understand their struggles, but they do need to be relatable in the sense that they have struggles to begin with. If a character overcomes everything without any struggle, without any trial, without any adversity, that's a problem because then we can't relate to it. I mean, think about it like this. Just the act of getting up in the morning can be a struggle. Just the idea of, oh my gosh, I really have to get up. I got to go to work. But first I got to get a shower and make breakfast. All that fun stuff, right? Now let's say that you have a character who wakes up, all right, I'm so ready to go today. Breakfast is going to be a snap. Shower real quick. Get to work. Have a great day. Don't you hate people like that? I mean, people always just say, oh, don't you hate those morning people? Well, yeah, that's the reason why. Because we always say, mornings are terrible. Why do you like mornings? And I know that's kind of a bad example because there are people who are morning people. There are people who just jump out of bed each day ready to go. But I'm trying to make a point that when you have a character who unrealistically approaches everything with an almost undefeatable attitude, it's a problem. Like, for example, take Rey from the most recent Star Wars movies. Name a battle she lost. You can't. You can't. In the entire movie series that she's had, I don't think she's lost a battle. Or if she's come close to losing one, she gets saved at the last minute. Now, normally I would not care so much. It wouldn't bother me. If you have an overly powerful character, fine, whatever. But you can have an overly powerful character like One Punch Man Saitama, who I think is hilarious. And the whole joke of the show is that he can't be beat. No one can beat him. He wins every fight with just one punch. That's the joke. So why is Saitama so entertaining and fun, whereas Rey is so mind-numbingly annoying? And it comes down to this. Saitama's not lying to me. Remember how I said that a Mary Sue is lying to you? Well, here's where it comes in. Saitama isn't lying to me. He knows he's OP. The show knows he's OP. That's part of the joke. Saitama's whole character is that he wants to lose. He wants to meet a force that will actually challenge him. He's actually become so powerful it bores him. That's the joke. The show isn't lying to me at any point saying, "Oh, but he's not too overpowered. He's like everyone else." No, the show's aware he's too OP. Now Rey. Trying to give her all these weaknesses. She misses her family. She's from this nowhere. She's from this nowhere planet that no one knows about, that literally is in the middle of nowhere space. And she's just this country bumpkin with no background of her own. She's never held a lightsaber before. Now here's the thing: when you give her those weaknesses, you have to say, "Oh, okay. Well, if she's from nowhere, then I guess that means she's never been exposed to the Force, which means training in it would be much harder." No, actually, she picks it up without any trouble. In fact, she was able to mind control a stormtrooper without ever having been exposed to the idea before. Oh, I guess because she's never held a lightsaber before, she'll have a lot of trouble using a lightsaber for the first time. No, actually, she beats a trained Sith in lightsaber combat first time. Oh, well, I mean, I guess if she's just a scavenger who's never flown a ship before, she wouldn't be able to pilot. No, she actually flies the Millennium Falcon very well her first time trying. See what I mean? You throw these weaknesses at her, expecting us to sympathize with her and watch her overcome them, but she doesn't have to overcome them. She's already overcome them. She's already too good. That's where the lie comes in. Don't lie to me and say she's weak or pathetic. Just tell me she's OP so I know going in. Now, some people might say, well, Luke was a Mary Sue as well. And I know that I'm not the first person to talk about the Star Wars movies like this. I know I'm not the first person. I'm sure that there were plenty of others. But I felt the need to rant about this because people have come to me about this and I want to talk about it. They say Luke was a Mary Sue too. Okay, well, let's talk about why. Well, he picked up on the Force pretty quickly too. Did he? He kind of quit early on, didn't he? I mean, sure. Okay, let's look at the first movie. He was from nowhere space, but they established that he had flown before. He flew that cruiser back and forth. And we also established that he used to fly some in this Dead Man's Canyon or whatever with his buddy Big. So he's had piloting experience. He's also had shooting experience because we established, he used to bullseye womp rats. He's had experience, but he's also naive. Like, he talks back to Han Solo a lot and annoys the crap out of Han. He gets a little bit mouthy. He acts whiny. He acts so whiny in the beginning. Oh my gosh, it's such a great joke. Just so whiny. It's really funny. But he has flaws. And then look at him in the second movie when he starts using the Force. Sure, you could argue, he learned how to force pull the lightsaber his first try. Okay, fine. I guess that's a little bit of a Gary Stew there. I guess you could argue that's a little bit Gary Stew. But then let's look at the comparison. Rey was never taught anything in the Force. Never had any experience in Force training. Oh, but she trained with Luke. To do what? Feel the Force until Luke runs off in fear? She's just too powerful. Gosh, dang it, come on. So there's that. But that's not the biggest issue. Her Force training means very little to me. Like a lot of people have pointed out, Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian could use the Force and he's just a baby. Okay, whatever. But that's not what makes a Mary Sue. That's part of it. That is part of it, but there's more to it than that. There's more to it than that. The way I see it is like this. You build a world and have characters interact within the world. The characters revolve around this world. For example, in a show like One Piece, the anime One Piece, the story's about Luffy and his crew, but they are shaped by the world. They have to react to and interact with the world around them. If they get attacked, they have to respond to the attack. The island that they land on, they have to respond to the island that they land on. In Naruto, it's the same thing. In Dragon Ball Z, it's the same thing. But with a Mary Sue, the world reacts to them. And that's the problem. When the world reacts to the character, you create something that's unrealistic, and we recognize it as unrealistic. I mean, think about it. We cannot control the world all the time. We lack that ability. Because we can't control the world all the time, when we see someone else that the world just seems to bow to, it takes us off guard. Rey, for example, really think about it. You've got Kylo Ren just suddenly decides not to kill her. He captures her alive, but decides not to kill her, and abandons his quest to find the droid BB-8 because he somehow thinks she's going to be the solution. They somehow form this relationship with each other. Luke, who says that he isn't going to train anyone else, suddenly decides, hey, you know what, never mind, blow that idea. I'm going to start training her. Han Solo, who is known to be this lone wolf kind of character, suddenly decides, hey, you know what, I'll adopt this girl to possibly be part of my crew. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, which was missing forever, she somehow finds. The world just seems to revolve around Rey. Everything happens that benefits Rey. Another symptom of the Mary Sue is they usually don't have a goal. When people ask me, how do I write a character? It's simple. I start with a personality and a goal in mind. I want them to have something to achieve, because we in life have something we want to achieve. It could be something as simple as, I just want to make it through work and get home and eat supper tonight. Or something as big as, I want to be president of the United States. Whatever the case, we have a goal in mind that we're trying to achieve. Either a little one or a big one. But a character who has no goal, I don't want to root for them. Now let's look at Luke Skywalker, just for comparison. What was Luke's goal? Well, in the first movie, it was to get off of Tatooine, rescue Princess Leia, destroy the Death Star. Those were the three major goals. In the second movie, it was to get to Dagobah, train under Yoda, and then save his friends from Darth Vader. And then in the third movie, it was to save Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt, and then help destroy the new Death Star that's being built on whatever that planet was, that moon, Endor. That's right. But then you see other characters where they don't have a goal. This was one of my big problems with an anime like Bleach. I never got into Bleach. I know I've just pissed off a lot of anime fans, but I never got into it because really look at Ichigo. What's his goal? What does he want? I don't know. Neither does he. Ichigo's very reactionary. He's like a police officer. A police officer cannot act until a crime is in progress or a crime has been reported. And it's the same with him. He doesn't want anything until a friend of his is in trouble, and then he reacts to the trouble. There's no goal. At least give Luffy and Naruto credit. What's Naruto's goal? He wants to be Hokage. What's Luffy's goal? He wants to be king of the pirates and achieve the One Piece. What's Goku's goal? He wants to be the world's greatest fighter and always find new people to fight. What's Ichigo's goal? Nothing. He just rescues his friends when they're in trouble. Now let's look at Rey. What's her goal? You could argue it's to find her family. You could argue that. But what steps does she take to achieve it? None. She literally says, I want to go back to Jakku and wait for them to come back. Even though in her heart she knows they won't. Really? Come on. Characters shouldn't just have a goal. They should be actively working to achieve it. Otherwise, it's boring. It's kind of like saying, all right, you got a, all right, knight, brave knight in shining armor, you got a princess who's being captured by a dragon. Oh, that's terrible. I should do something. Yes, you should. Get to it. Now, I'll wait. It's raining outside. She could die at any minute. Yeah, but something will happen. Don't worry. Maybe the dragon will get a cold and he'll get tired of it. A character who just waits for something to change is the worst. In fact, there's this song. I know that I'm rambling at this point, but hey, you sign on for this. There's a song right now. When I was a kid, my dad hated the song, and I learned to hate it too because of what it meant. It's a song waiting on the world to change. 'Cause I'm waiting on the world to change. I hate that song. I hate it so much, and I'll tell you why. Because of that one line. Why do you wait on the world to change? Be the change, dang it. Nothing's going to change if you don't act on it. Nothing's going to change if you're not active. And that's why Rey annoyed me so much. She had to be dragged into action. And you know what? To a certain extent, so did Harry Potter after a while. And, bear with me. Harry does, at the beginning, take actions. Like in the first book, he goes to get the Sorcerer's Stone because he knows that someone is after it. In the second book, he goes to the Chamber of Secrets because Ginny gets captured. Okay, but then after that, he just gets dragged along. In the third one, he gets dragged along for the ride to find Sirius Black. In the fourth one, he accidentally someone forces his name into the Goblet of Fire. In the fifth one, he kind of accidentally gets dragged into the rescue of his godfather. It just, along the way, up until the end of the book series, he's the reluctant hero. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a reluctant hero, but after a while, the hero has to decide, time to be a hero. Time to actually do something. And as much as I hate to say it, I'd even admit that Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings is a bit of a reluctant hero. He really gets kind of, the ring gets kind of shoved onto him, and then he has to act on that. Give Bilbo some credit. After a while, he chose to go along with the group. He chose to be part of that adventure. So give him credit. Back to Rey again. Rey irritates me because for most of the story, she just doesn't want to be part of it. She doesn't want to be part of it. And I love that because she berates Finn for not wanting to be part of it, for running away. How could you run away from this? This is bigger than any of us. You're running away from it? What does she do as soon as she gets Luke's lightsaber and is told that she has a great destiny? I want no part of this. Takes off. That's not an engaging character. That's not a fun character. I'm not at all interested in that. So yeah, I mean, so I know that there are going to be lots of people who love Rey and think all this stuff about her, you know. Oh, she's an empowering woman. Is she? Is she? You want to know something? I think that there are plenty of empowering women in fiction already. But what do you define as an empowering woman figure? I don't need to make a Mary Sue to make an empowering woman figure. I just need to make a woman who is realistic, fun to follow, and interesting. People forget that unique characters have flaws, you know. People, you know, I used to watch The Nostalgia Critic, and he had this good point when he was talking about Sex and the City. Another show. I can't remember what it was that he was watching or reviewing. Maybe it was The Princess Diaries. I don't remember. But whatever the case, he said there are some movie makers who are so afraid to show women struggling or show women with issues because they think that if they do, it'll make them look bad. You know, struggle is life. Life is a struggle. Sometimes you're just going to be hit with difficult times. And how you react to them is what makes you unique. It is not so much about the struggles you face. It is how you overcome them. No one cares if you get knocked to the mat, but everyone cares if you get back up stronger than you did before. That is power. That is strength. But in order for us to see that, we need to see you hit the mat. We need to see you at your weakest. That's what made Saitama so interesting to me. He's never going to lose a fight. It would ruin the joke if he did. But that's not the point. Our point is he is suffering. Every day he's suffering because he knows he'll never struggle. He'll never face a real challenge. And because of that, he suffers. Life has lost its luster for him because there's no challenge in it anymore. There's no fun in it anymore. There's nothing for him to wake up to and enjoy anymore because there's nothing to test him or push him. So it's the same way with these women and men have it too, but it's the same way with these Mary Sues and Gary Stews who just overcome everything without any struggle or trial. It's the same thing with all these people who you just go, why do I follow you? You're never going to lose. I already know how this story's going to end. And frankly, I don't care anymore. So that's what it comes down to for me. So this has been my ramble about Mary Sues and Gary Stews. Again, none of this was scripted. I'm just going to do these from time to time because sometimes I feel like I need to rant or ramble about something. This has been my Writers Ramble. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for sticking with it for about 18 minutes. I will see y'all in the next one.